To pray, there's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. Now, I'm fairly certain that I have everything figured out. Although I've been spending 30 to 40 minutes just trying to get this right. It's messing up again. So I'm just going to try and record a video, and I'm going to be cutting it into 4 pieces, recording for 5 minutes and seeing exactly how the audio sounds. So that means that this is going to take a lot longer to get out than I already planned. So let us continue this what if already. Whenever we last left off, Midoriya, him and Kendo had just started their match. Along with that, Bakugo Katsuki came by the dojo and was looking for Midoriya. He wanted to fight him and kick his ass, since he thought, or at least heard a little bit of a rumor going around, that Midoriya has gotten far stronger, or at least is able to take down people twice his own size. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, him and Kendo, they would be sparring. And Midoriya has showed off his quirk. Now, whenever she does throw her fist outwards at Midoriya, Midoriya would have caught it, feeling his body somewhat begin to move and shift off the mat. Before he can even do so, he'd have cranked himself up, going from 15% and amping himself up to 25%. Being able to grab her entire hand and throw his body weight over. Her basically watching as he goes airborne, and her hand completely swings to the left. Midoriya immediately just grabbing her, and whenever he does land, trying to flip her over his shoulder. Being able to pick her up and smash her directly back into the mat, as she would be a bit in shock, and go to get back up. As soon as she does, Midoriya would have been able to move forwards, her going to throw out her own hand, and going to increase it. Midoriya going to bring up his hand on the block before he does at least see it begin to increase. And he would just shift his body weight, moving his legs out from underneath him, as he begins to fall. As soon as that does happen, Kendo would watch him basically dodge the attack. And her hand is still giant, Midoriya throwing out his left arm and grabbing her by the wrist, as he does shift his body weight and pull her towards him, completely wrapping around her arm and slamming her down on the mat. Basically holding her down as he does actually grab her by the wrist and hold it past his head. Basically trying to get her to tap out. She wouldn't do so until Midoriya does actually begin to pull a little bit harder, her telling him that she gives up. Now, the match barely even lasted a couple seconds. In fact, someone was watching it and recording it. If you were to have blinked, you would have missed at least 10% of it. The match, let's say, lasted about 15 seconds. Midoriya telling her that she's actually pretty good, but she's, well, only going for an attack with those things. So what you want to do is try and be a bit more defensive. You didn't really expect me to do what I did. Besides, are you a runner? Because you don't really move very fast. Her a bit more, well, annoyed actually, asking exactly what does he mean by that. Him just saying that the amount of training she does seem like a runner, but he can't tell that she's not. You only do, what is it? You train to try and use your quirk, because otherwise those things would be too heavy, right? Him not afraid to ask this question. Her just saying that she does, but even then, what does it matter? Well, running's gonna be something you need to do as a hero. So you might as well do it now before you, what, don't save somebody or are too slow. Trust me, it's very important. I actually kind of saved the ass that I was in it earlier from a sludge villain. A couple months ago, in fact. That was before I even knew I had this ability. Now, he would just go and explain that this was that tournament day. Her kinda confused. The day she met him, he saved someone from a villain. Impressive. Now, after talking with Kendo a bit more, Midoriya would have told her that if she wants a surefire way to get into UA, they should train together more. And he actually doesn't know a beach nearby that would be perfect for this. Telling her that tomorrow's Sunday, so if she can meet him there in the morning, they can begin to train. Besides, as he would just look up, saying that if he does hit his head again, yeah, that won't at least be easy. I don't want to smash through the ceiling. That sounds like it would either be very painful or very annoying to fix. Now, this is whenever she would just agree and meet him there the next morning. Midoriya telling her to bring water. Now, that is whenever she would have arrived, seeing Midoriya on the beach basically just practicing with his quirk. Him bringing up his hands and holding them outwards. Him aiming to charge the electricity as he would just pull it into a fist, cocking his arms backwards and throwing as much force as he can at the ocean. Her being surprised to watch as he actually does begin to move around the water and create his own waves. Now, this would have been quite interesting. Midoriya is throwing around about 35% of One for All, and she's very intrigued by this. This guy is showing off more power. So, what does that mean? Now, she would have walked down to the beach, getting his attention as Midoriya would have talked with her, seeing that she's actually a bit more ready for training, and that she does have abs. That being very surprising. Then again, he should have expected that. You have to be very strong to be able to carry the hands that she has. Those things are massive. Now, Midoriya would have started her off with a run, the two running across the beach and then running back to the starting point, where her water bottle is. Now, Midoriya would also be timing it. His regular mile time is about, let's see, 6 minutes and 58 seconds. While Kendo's time, I want to say that since she is in shape, it would be around 13 minutes to 13:45. So at least a semi-average time if you're on a runner. I believe so. That actually might be very good. Anyways. Now, she would have been a bit more surprised with Midoriya. Him basically running the mile with One for All, and then running back. Him somewhat messing around by jumping around through the air and actually moving faster. If he wasn't jumping through the air and messing around, then he probably would have gotten under 3 minutes. Nearly double his time. Or half his time. Now, with that being said, the two would have continued to run around. Midoriya actually getting her to improve upon this, along with sparring and actually training on the beach. Before the two would have headed over to the dojo, train there, and then head home. Them actually proceeding to do this for the next couple of months. Kendo actually getting a bit more physically tough and being able to hold her own against Midoriya. Until he does begin to increase his power more. Now, she also does want to try and train her quirk, but with big hands, that's really all you have. So trying to train it is going to be a bit harder. Now, this would be whenever one day at the dojo, they would be training more. And one of the instructors does actually call Midoriya over. Him walking over and being told that he has actually done fairly well. And that to honor him going to UA, they do want to give him something. Basically handing over, well, another belt. They were meaning to give this to Midoriya already, but since this will be technically his last day here, they believe, hopefully it is not the end of your journey. So, we would like to congratulate both of you two. The instructor actually talked with Kendo, saying that she is able to keep up with Midoriya. That was no easy feat even before he got his quirk. That was no easy feat even before he got his quirk. So, in order to honor you about that, as they'll present her with the next level of belt for her, well, her martial arts. I don't remember exactly which one she does learn. But they would give her the next advanced belt. Telling them both as everyone would begin to bow, saying that they truly will be missed, and they do hope to return one day. As the two would leave, having a bit of a, well, conversation. In this amount of time, Midoriya has been able to help her shave off a lot more time off of her run. Her being able to complete it in about 7:15. That being a very good number, since it's basically half of what she was already able to do. And Midoriya was able to shave off more time on his own run from 6:58 to around 6:27. Getting better and better and better himself. Now, with that being said, the next day at school, Midoriya, it is announced that the two students going to UA, as the teacher basically just raised up his hand, saying, please stand up. Bakugo and Midoriya doing the same. Everyone actually beginning to stare at these two. Some people saying that Bakugo will be the, well, obvious candidate, but why is Midoriya standing up? He's, as someone just tapped him on the shoulder, saying that he unlocked his quirk a while ago. In fact, he has like an enhancement ability or something. It's really powerful. He even beat Bakugo. Now, that last part Bakugo would have turned around at, and just shouted that he got a lucky shot in. Now, with that being said, this is whenever class would be dismissed, and everyone would begin to, well, talk. As outside, there is a bit of a conversation. Bakugo has pulled Midoriya aside and tried to talk with him. Bakugo just wants to talk. Him basically smashing Midoriya against the wall before he can even think about anything. Telling him exactly what is he going to go to UA for. You better not go to UA because that place is mine. I'm supposed to be the only one shining in front of these losers. And I don't know where you got your quirk from, but I don't believe that for 1 second. I'm on to you, Izuku Midoriya. And you better understand this warning. I'm only going to give it to you. Midoriya annoyed, spitting in Bakugo's face and pushing him away. As Bakugo would charge back in and go to throw an explosion. Midoriya grabbing him by his wrist and grabbing him by using his other hand to grab him by his shirt, immediately smashing him into the wall and holding up both of his hands, pinning them together and holding them with one, him being at 40%. Bakugo pissed off and trying to move, or at least get Midoriya to back away. Midoriya letting go Bakugo as he sends a large knee directly into his gut. Bakugo actually falling to the ground and, well, basically hitting it. Like a little bitch. Midoriya basically walking away and telling Bakugo that that was only a sample. And next time you threaten me, just know him turning and looking back at him, saying that he won't hold back. In fact, my quirk is powerful, yes, but you're too confident, Bakugo. There's a difference between being confident and being just an arrogant prick. You should learn it sometimes. I'll see you at the entrance exam. Midoriya walking away. Bakugo still trying to recover. He's not even able to get up off the ground. In fact, he just lost his lunch. Being able to stand up after a couple minutes and just, well, head home. Pissed off, he does try and get some last minute training in. And now, the next day they are over at UA. Deku and Kendo actually walking in, as whenever that does happen, they do see a girl trip. Midoriya rushing forwards and immediately being able to grab her by her backpack. Before he does at least pull her backwards and get her back onto her feet. Her turning around and saying, "Thank you. You seem pretty nervous. Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm just, well, kinda concerned. I don't wanna, well, mess this up, you know? It's only like my entire future depends on it." Her face actually beginning to get more red. Midoriya just telling her a few simple words. And asking her one simple question. What is her quirk? Her saying that it's actually zero gravity. Midoriya just saying that's actually pretty impressive. In fact, I'll tell you one thing. I have an enhancement quirk and she has a quirk called Big Hands. So, well, there's this asshole named Bakugo Katsuki. He has the most destructive quirk I've ever seen. If he can get into Class 1A, or even the top class, then I'm pretty sure you can. Besides, shit happens. You can always try a different school if you do fail. You said that your entire future depends on it. Stop thinking like that. You always can find a second chance somewhere else. It may not be as good, but you can still be the best hero you can be. Anyways, later. Him just walking away. And her a bit confused about that. Her quirk is more powerful than one meant to destroy. Well, that's at least comforting. Her walking in too. Deku and Bakugo being placed right next to each other, just like in canon, as Bakugo would somewhat be whispering to Midoriya. Trying to catch his attention as Midoriya is ignoring him. Whenever Bakugo does get a bit louder, Midoriya would just done one thing. Bring his hand up directly next to Bakugo and begin to charge it with electricity. Bakugo shutting up as Tenya Ida would look behind him. Seeing Deku do this, he looks straight at him. Bakugo quieting down, and then Midoriya just turning back to face present like. Him explaining all the point system. Ida not standing up in this event, since Midoriya was the one to quiet him down. Now, they would be a bit more. Well, actually, Midoriya, I want to say that since he does at least try and study sometimes, but he does focus more on training, he would get about 6th to 7th place in the test scores. Kendo placing a little bit above him, since she does at least make sure to study. Now, with that being said, the destruction portion, or the robot portion. This is going to be a bit more complicated. Whenever Midoriya is actually in this group, one thing would happen. He would think that if he's going to make a good presence known in UA, then he might as well show off a little bit. Actually smirking in his thinking. This is going to surprise a whole lot of people. Kendo actually walking up and giving him a high five. They're both in the same area. That's going to make this a lot easier, since they can choose to team up. Do they have team up points in this thing? Probably. No. These two would have ran directly into the front of the line. Ida basically getting in Midoriya's way and wanting to ask him about what happened earlier. before actually telling him that he cannot go talk to that girl again. Midoriya walking past him as he just says these simple few words. Go fuck yourself, Four Eyes. Ida just standing there, silently, with his hand up. Not really sure what to say. Turning around and going to say that is a very mischievous use of language, and that he should not speak that way to his fellow, classmates or future heroes, allies, whatever he can really think of. Midoriya basically turning around and giving him the finger. Ida shutting up. Thinking that guy is very overconfident, as whenever they do begin, Deku would have charged up to 40%, smashing his right leg outwards as he creates somewhat of a small crater. People actually beginning to back away from him as he would have launched out forwards. People watching as he begins to throw around 30%, bringing his arm backwards and smashing straight through the first robot. It being sent flying straight through 3 more, as they would all explode. Midoriya jumping upwards into the air and immediately grabbing a piece, tossing it straight downwards as hard as he can, splitting a robot in 2. Everyone a bit in shock. As Midoriya would just continue on, along with Kendo. They are very fast. And I believe if I'm correct, being able to, Midoriya at 30% in against Sir Night-Eye, he was somewhat faster than the eye can see, or at least beginning to turn into a blur. And I believe the point of speed to become invisible to the human eye would be roughly around 120 miles an hour. Midoriya being 10% stronger would be about faster than the human eye. That means that he'd be around the same speed as Ida. My inner Deku just showed, I'm sorry. Basically, Midoriya is as fast as Ida, because of his 10% boost. Now, Deku would be running around, Ida basically right next to him. Kinda confused and asking exactly what is his quirk. He thought he had a strength quirk, but he's just as fast. Midoriya is just saying that he actually has an enhancement quirk, and it's quite as he would just throw his hand out forwards, throwing a shockwave and actually beginning to blast away more robots. Everything on that side of the city beginning to fly away with a loud boom. As Midoriya was just standing there holding out his fist, cocking it backwards and actually shaking it off, saying quite powerful. Everyone a bit more surprised. What exactly is this guy? He's powerful, he's strong, and, he just took out like 50 robots with a single punch, and he didn't even touch any of them. Now, that would shock so many people. As they watch Midoriya basically just jump upwards into the air, jumping in between buildings and jumping downwards only to smash into more robots. Him doing exactly what, Gran Torino can do. Using the buildings to move around, until the 0-pointer does show up. The amount of strain Midoriya has put on his body is not good. He can go up to 20%, comfortably. 30% is pushing it and 40% is maxing out. So, I should go. The 0-pointer actually arriving. And Midoriya thinking, if his amount of power can take down so many robots and produce a shockwave like that, then let's see what I can do against this thing. Kendo calling him insane and telling him to run. He can't take that thing down, can he? Now, Midoriya would just rush forwards. As he's running, his smirk would slowly fade, hearing somebody call for help. One thing happening, him zooming in as soon as the robot begins to throw his leg downwards. A lot of people in shock and watching him. As Yuraka would throw her hands over her head, screaming. Midoriya basically just holding onto the robot's leg as Yuraka would open her eyes to see Midoriya holding back the robot as he actually does begin to buckle his legs. One of his knees bending downwards. People just watching as Kendo begins to run in. Midoriya actually just thinking, time to see how much I can push it. Bringing himself up to 50%. Feeling like his muscles are about to burst. The one in his left arm does, as he's barely able to hold back the robot anymore, throwing back his right arm and throwing out a 100%. As Kendo would be directly behind him. The amount of power Midoriya just produced, sending everyone around him flying. Along with people just watching as Midoriya is standing there, with his left arm completely covered in blood and soaked in it, and his shirt destroyed, as his right arm is smoking like a gun, as it would just drop down to the ground, or well, he would, dropping onto his knees and at least just being to take a deep breath, looking towards the pile of rubble, asking her if she is okay. Now, this is whenever All Might would have came in. And, well, survey what happened. Throwing the rubble off of Uraka and picking her up. Telling her that things will be fine and that they have a recovery hero on the way. Looking directly at Midoriya. Saying, young man, that was quite the feat. In fact, you do seem to be quite powerful. Are you going to be okay? Midoriya just, well, looking up at All Might. Somewhat just laughing it off, saying that, yeah, I'll be fine. I just need some help. Him actually moving upwards onto his legs. Beginning to get a bit wobbly. People actually surprised that he can still stand after doing that. And, well, Recover would come in and heal Midoriya. As whenever she does so, she does tell the young man to just get some rest. That will actually cause, well, this does actually take stamina, so you will need to recover. Along with at least congratulating him for saving somebody, and that he should have at least tried to rescue the person first. Now, him and Kendo would walk away from the entrance exam. Her basically asking him exactly when can he do that, or how did he even learn he can do something like that. Midoriya smirking, and saying that there is a limit to the amount of power he does hold, but he can't use a lot of it. If he does, he'll actually begin to break his body, as he does at least hold up his left arm, or at least show it off, and what remains of that side of his shirt, saying that the muscle right here popped, while my other arm broke right through it all I could. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.